Homeowners associations. You know them, they're famous for rules about how green your lawn should be or what color you can paint your front door. But sometimes, these little neighborhood squabbles, they blow up. Today, we're diving into a case where a simple petition spiraled into a full-blown legal battle, pitting an HOA president against the very people she was elected to represent.
So we're actually going to start at the end of the story because, well, look at this. This is a notice for a hearing. The person bringing the complaint is Barbara Kunkel. The one being complained against is the Agua Dulce Homeowners Association. And here's the kicker. Barbara Kunkel is the president of that same HOA. Yeah, you heard that right. The president is suing her own association. So the million-dollar question is, how on earth does this happen? How does the leader of an organization end up taking them to court? To figure that out, we've got to rewind, go back to the very beginning before any lawyers got involved. It all kicked off the way these things often do, with a group of homeowners who were just fed up. They felt like they weren't being heard, so they decided to do something about it, taking the most direct route they possibly could. They started a recall petition.
And here it is. This is the actual petition, signed by a whole bunch of members of the Agua Dulce HOA back in late May 2025. This piece of paper formally demanded a special meeting for one reason, and one reason only, to vote on removing Director and President Barbara Kunkel.
And listen, this wasn't just some vague, we're unhappy note. The petition laid out a laundry list of very specific complaints. The people who signed were accusing the president of everything from abuse of power and holding illegal meetings to spending money without approval and, crucially, withholding financial information. These are some seriously heavy accusations in the world of HOAs.
Now, that last point about withholding financial info, that one's a really big deal because it's not just about breaking the HOA's own rules. It could mean breaking actual state law.
See, under Arizona law, the rules are crystal clear. An HOA has to make its financial records reasonably available for any member to look at within just 10 business days. So accusing someone of hiding the books isn't just a simple complaint. It's a legal allegation. They're saying the HOA is breaking the law.
Okay, so the homeowners have handed in their petition with all these serious accusations. You think the next step is just setting a date for the vote, right? Well, not so fast. It wasn't nearly that simple. The petition itself was about to come under the microscope.
Every single signature was about to be scrutinized. And it turns out, not everyone who signed was considered to be in good standing with the association. This right here is where the paperwork war really heats up.
So what you're looking at here is pretty wild. On the left, you've got a page from the petition with all the signatures. But on the right, that's an internal document where every single one of those names is being checked out. See those little red notes next to some of them? That's the HOA auditing the people who signed.
And those little notes say things like over 30 or over 90. That means the homeowner was more than 30 or 90 days late on paying their HOA dues. The argument being made here is that if you haven't paid your dues, maybe your signature shouldn't count. Every single aspect of this was turning into a fight.
Now, while this whole public fight over petition signatures was brewing, something totally different was happening behind the scenes, something that was only revealed in some private emails. And honestly, it's a twist that nobody could have seen coming.
Get this. In an email to the HOA's lawyer on June 9th, President Kunkel herself asks, "When would be a good date for me to resign?" She was literally, in private, asking for the best time to step down to save the association money on the whole recall process.
And this wasn't just a random thought she had. The very next day, the attorney, Sean Moynihan, writes back with some real urgency. He says she needs to offer her resignation as soon as possible. It sounds like a resignation wasn't just an idea, it was about to happen.
Which brings us to the absolute core mystery of this whole thing. If the president was all set to step down in early June, why in the world is she the one suing the HOA 5 months later? Something big must have changed between June and November.
The journey from a secret resignation plan to a formal administrative hearing is a twisted one, that's for sure. But the documents lay out the roadmap for us, so let's just do a quick recap of how we got here. Let's walk through it. Late May, the community is angry and the recall petition is in. Just a couple of weeks later, early June, the president is privately planning her exit strategy, but she never actually leaves. Instead, fast forward to November and the tables have completely flipped. Now the president is the one on the attack, taking legal action against the HOA.
And that brings us right back to this document, the one we started with. Every path, the petition, the signature challenges, the secret resignation emails, they all lead to this one place, a formal hearing set for November 21st, 2025.
So this story is far from over. All we have is the paper trail that gets us to the courtroom door. What happens inside is anyone's guess. It just leaves you with this one big question, right? When a community decides to oust its leader and that leader decides to fight back, what version of the truth is actually going to come out on top?